Hello. I hope you're all still doing okay and staying well. Here at the vicarage, we've got into a bit of rhythm of life. We're in our 5th week, so we pretty much know when Zoom meetings are happening, and we have to prepare talks. We have Steve, our gardener, coming, who comes and does the church grounds every day, so that's great to see him. And of course, we take the dogs for a walk every day across the beautiful country park. So today, I just wanted to talk about 2 areas that I feel that God's been talking to me a bit about from my journal. One of them is about we need to know God's love and be grounded in it, because that's how we mature and grow. And the second is about keeping the Sabbath holy again, because we don't do that anymore. And to understand the importance of it. And also it's worth remembering that actually it was part of the 10 Commandments. So it's not about if we feel like it, it is a commandment that we need to keep today. So to start with, I was looking at Ephesians 3:16-20. In it says, I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide and long and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. So the importance of knowing God's love, being rooted and established, is like being a mature plant. And also there is power together with all God's holy people in our local churches. That's really important too. And as we know him more in our faith, and as we learn to know his love, we grow in holiness. But we do need to know Jesus' love so that we can pass it on to others and tell them about how big it is and how it's more important than knowledge to be filled with the fullness of God. This is how we reach out into the community and take all that fullness of love to people. And it's the only way we can do it. As we know his love more and learn how to receive it more and recognize how much we need it, it will help us love people more. It will help us go deeper in our closest relationships, in our family and our friendships. The more we know Jesus, the more we see how far we fall short of his amazing ways. And then we begin to look at our own lives and think, I need to change that behaviour, or I need to have a different reaction when that person says that. I'm reading a book at the moment called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. It's a really good book. We studied it, we touched on it at Wild Goose and talked about the importance of taking a day off. But the book originally was about stopping us hurrying and the elimination of hurry, and to slow us down in order to rethink our lives. Well, I think with this pandemic that's going on, we've already done that bit. And so we need to just perhaps look at how we can cope when we get back into some sort of normality of life. So the book is written in 3 parts. Part 1 is why do we need to stop hurrying? And part 2 is how to stop hurrying. Well, I guess that's being part of a COVID-19 pandemic. That helps. So I've skipped those 2 parts and I'm on part 3, which is 4 practices for unhurrying your life. And the 4 headings are silence and solitude. Silence, solitude and Sabbath, simplicity and slowing. And there's an epilogue right at the end called A Quiet Life at the end of the book. So when we come out of this time of isolation, will we have changed for the better? Will we have got a closer relationship with Jesus? Will we know him better and be so confident of it that we can't stop telling other people what a change he's made in our life? In John Mark Comer's book, he quotes St. Augustine at the fall of the Roman Empire. And he says, "You have made us for yourself, and our heart is restless until it rests in you." And I'm just going to read you an extract from this book, because he also quotes Dallas Willard, who's also a fantastic teacher. And this is what he says. More recently, Dallas Willard put it this way: "Desire is infinite, partly because we were made by God, made for God, made to need God, and made to run on God. We can be satisfied only by the one who is infinite, eternal, and able to supply all our needs. We are only at home in God. When we fall away from God, the desire for the infinite remains, but it is displaced upon things that will certainly lead to destruction." And John Mark Comer goes on to say, "Ultimately, nothing in this life apart from God can satisfy our desires. Tragically, we continue to chase after our desires ad infinitum. The result, a chronic state of restlessness, or worse, angst, anger, anxiety, disillusionment, depression, all of which lead to a life of hurry, a life of busyness, overload, shopping, materialism, careerism, a life of more, which in turn makes us even more restless, and the cycle spirals out of control." In this world, our new enemies are advertising and social media, which stoke up the fire of envy and make us want what we don't have and become someone whom we haven't been called to be. So in this book, I've started the chapter on solitude and Sabbath. And I've been thinking about how that might look when we all get back to life and it gets busy again. I think it would be great if we had Sundays back again, where everything stops and everyone has a day off. It means there'll be no shops open, no restaurants, no coffee shops, and we'll have to spend it with family or friends and have conversation and play games and go for walks. In Exodus 29, part of the Ten Commandments, it says, "Work 6 days and do everything you need to do, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to God, your God. Don't do any work, not you, nor your son, or your daughter, nor your servant, nor your maid, nor your animals, nor even foreign guests visiting in your town. For in 6 days God made heaven, earth, and sea, and everything in them. He rested on the seventh day. Therefore God blessed the Sabbath day. He set it apart as a holy day." And if you're in any doubt and think, oh, that was just the Old Testament when they were in the desert with Moses, in Mark 2, Jesus also says, "The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath." So we've had all this time off and we've had an opportunity to slow down and reconsider our lives, and life will never be the same again. And it will take time to get back on track as a country. So this would be a good opportunity to think about how do we want to do life better for ourselves and for our families. The word Sabbath means to stop. So we all need a day to stop working, stop wanting and worrying, and to simply stop and rest. In my previous talks about what I learned in my 40 days of intentionally spending time with Jesus, I've been talking about using this enforced time of rest to have now to get to know him better, to intentionally spend time with him in his presence. This is why God commands us in the Ten Commandments to take 1 day of every week to just be with him, to rest, to restore, to renew after a busy week. This is what we're created for. Up until now, I don't know about you, but Kevin and I have been working hard all week, and on our day off, we'll catch up with all the chores and all the shopping, which we didn't have time to do in the week. but it's not really very restful, and it's not what we're designed to do. On the seventh day, we just need to relax, enjoy God, enjoy our families, be creative, be in His presence, and come away from the busy world for one day a week. And you can be assured that doing this will help our mental health, our physical health, and give us time and space to reflect on life and give quality time to each other, which I'm sure to a point you're finding now. The Sabbath isn't supposed to be just a day off where you catch up with all your jobs you didn't do in the week because you were working. It's a day for rest and worship. At that point, I can hear some of you saying, what, worship all day? I don't think I can manage that. When I say worship, worship is giving thanks and acknowledging God for all that He's done in our lives. How you spend time on the Sabbath will be different for each person, as everyone is unique and in different seasons of life. So what looks one way for one person could be completely different for another. So we don't have any children now, so our Sabbath will be completely different to our daughter Sophie, who has 3 lively children. So Sabbath is really taking a day off and recognising all that God has done for you and given you in life. And in order to achieve this, we need to slow down and rest so that we can reflect. But you can still do life, but whatever is restful and refreshing to you, whatever restores your soul. So you could take a walk with your partner, chat about God, and inwardly say, thank you, Lord, for sending me this person along in my life, and that all they do to make my life feel complete. You could have a lovely, long, relaxing meal with yummy food with some special friends, and maybe encourage them, but at the same time inwardly say, thank you, Lord, for giving me these lovely friends and the fact that they've always got my back when the chips are down. Last Sunday, Sophie, my daughter again, who lives in a village outside Cambridge, went to the local stream with Lee and the kids. And they played poo sticks and generally messed around. And I remember actually she did put it on Instagram. She gave thanks for such a lovely family and felt very blessed by God. So the Sabbath, it's all about shifting our focus for one day of the week, looking to God and saying thank you for everything. And when you do that, you realise that your job was from Him anyway. So why are you taking the responsibility? Let it go. Let it go just for one day. Let Him take the strain. Then you can relax. So maybe when we come out of this time of isolation, we do need to put new things in practice. And maybe one of them is to claim the Sabbath back for each of us, as we look to have one day out of 7 for thankfulness and gratitude. The fact is, for many of us, we can't go back to how it was. Can you? Bless you and have a wonderful day.